Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to.
Prior to going into a case or prior to accepting any brief or after having accepted a brief, what are the pertinent things, what are the necessary things that a counsel must do before going to court?
I talked about having a good understanding of what the case is all about. Sometimes, like I said, some of us rush to court without fairly understanding what the issue. And then, besides understanding the facts, you need to understand the issues applicable to, or the law applicable to the facts and issues. You have to know who are the likely parties to the suit. You have to know what law governs the issue at stake, what you have to go to. Then you have to also make a valid judgment as to whether that matter has the chance of being successful in court. Though people who do public interest litigation would argue that in some of the public interest litigation matters, you don't need to report that by whether you win or lose. The important thing is that you're drawing attention to the issue. But I also think a lawyer should ask him whether the issue is academic or is one that has a good chance of surviving it or succeeding in it, rather. So then you have to sit down and then articulate your thoughts, assemble the facts and draw up your pleadings, and then find out the address of the parties you have to serve and file in the appropriate court. And in a rudimentary manner, I think that some of the things a lawyer would want to consider. You also have to ensure that your instruction is put down in writing and that you agree as to fees that you're to be paid. It's advisable to have this agreement in place before you commence work. Some of us make the mistake of not having a fee agreement and rushing off to commence work, only to realize that the client will not be willing to pay what we want to be paid for getting to the bottom of the matter. So your fee should be determined, and the terms of engagement should be put down in writing. Because you're a different person, except where you're giving pro bono services, in which case fee will not be an issue. You undertake to do that free of any charge for the person or for some other understanding. But basically, by work preparation, these are some of the issues. But you must be abreast of the law so that you don't get into court to realize that maybe you founded, the case is premised on a law that is no longer applicable, that has since become amended, or that has been interpreted in a manner different from your own understanding of what the law is. And it's not that you have wasted your time. You discover that you have been negligent, that if you had paid more attention, you would have better placed to advise the client as to whether it is necessary to go to court. And I must say that above all these things, you should also be able to appraise the facts and know whether it is not advisable for your client to seek out of court settlement with the other party. Explore alternative means of resolving disputes. For litigation lawyers, most times, the default setting is to go to court, irrespective of exploring other options, without caring about relationship that may be ruined by going to court, without caring about the time that may be wasted, the resources, so many things that may go wrong. So you need to weigh out the options, ask yourself whether there are not better ways of resolving the matter, whether negotiation, mediation, or arbitration will not settle the matter faster and give people a win-win situation where everybody is happy with the outcome, and where relationships are preserved, and where you also be able to get whatever claim your monetary claim you're claiming, or declaration you seek, or the issue sorted out one way or the other.
Now, how do you feel anytime you lose a case?
Now, it's natural to feel disappointed because you believe in your case, you feel you would have won, but there are times also you're prepared. There are times you are strongly convinced you have a good case, but in the course of case, as a result of questions, elicited during cross-examination, or documents which you may not have really adverted your mind fully, or you may have understood differently, but it transpires in the course of the hearing that your understanding was wrong. There's some you predict, and there's some, but the main thing is not to be emotionally attached. So when you lose, it's not personal. It's not as if you suffered a personal loss, right? So you should be able to dispassionately look at the judgment and not get overly emotional about it. There are some judgments you feel bad when they are read, but when you sit down and you read the judgments carefully, you agree that the judge was right. And in such cases, you advise your clients that an appeal may not be necessary. So, but there are cases that you feel that there is need for the intervention of the court for example, to where in a situation where you feel that a particular person's right is being violated and the court needs to intervene, then you feel that and then you don't get what you seek in court. There is some feeling of disappointment that maybe justice has not been done. There are also cases that you actually win, and you don't also feel very excited because you feel that the court's reasoning is such that it may not survive an appeal, or such judgment that may have such judgment you feel has not done justice to either your client or the other party, or has not settled the legal issues presented for determination in the case, which you may have felt that if the court made a proper pronouncement, parties will be guided in future as to how to act or behave towards each other. So the outcome of cases evoke different emotions. Disappointment could be one of it, excitement could be one of it, and acceptance could be one of it. It depends on how the judgment is delivered and what the facts are, and how far the judgment went.
Okay. So when you win a case, how do you feel?
It's not about winning, really. Lawyering is not about winning or losing, though you want to win. So it's not like winning the World Cup. It's not like winning the Ballon d'Or, whatever people win, all right, or win blame. So you would like to come out successful. There are judgments that you get. You are more excited about the impact on the legal profession, the extent that judgment has gone to assuage people's feelings, or there are even judgments you get that are the product of negotiated settlements. So winning, and in terms of having adrenaline pumping, you feeling excited on top of the world, is not always that way. I look at what has it done to society, what has it done to relationships, what has it done to assuage feelings, what has it done to settle the issue of law, what has it done to advance the cause of justice.